Oh, there we go. There's that Capcom logo again. This scene contains explicit scenes of violence and gore. You can enjoy very realistic sound by setting the sound mode to stereo and using a pair of headphones. Well, I am. I'm using headphones right now because we're playing Resident Evil Survivor. Resident Evil Survivor is a 2000 action game by Capcom that was the fourth game in the Resident Evil Survivor series at the point. So I want you to imagine that, you're a fan of Resident Evil, you've played through 1, 2, and 3, and you're hankering for some more. And then this is what you get. Now, Survivor does not play like the other 3 Resident Evils that we've looked at. This game is a complete first-person shooter, although it does still carry some of the traditional Resident Evil elements. And the game has decided to go to the demo mode, so we'll give you a look at what it's like. Also called Gun Survivor, Resident Evil Survivor is kind of a black sheep of the series, partly because of the way it plays. It was supposed to originally be used with a light gun, but controversies at the time, they decided it would be better to remove that feature, although the Japanese and I think the European version still support light guns. So here we go, we're walking around in complete first-person perspective, and we come across different enemies, and we have different puzzles we have to solve. Alright, let's not give too much away. So, as you know from my other Resident Evil games that I've played, is that I've had no luck with my save cards. My save for this was also deleted, even though this was a PlayStation game. So, even though I played it several times over and over and over again, trying to unlock everything to get ready for this Let's Play, it didn't work out so well. So I eventually got fed up, and I just grabbed a save off of GameFAQs. So we're going to be starting over. Oh, that's right, it's not on memory card 1, it's on memory card 2. I grabbed a save file off of GameFAQs and just said, screw it, let's start from there. So you can see here we have gun, and there are 8 stars, because as you find guns during the course of the game, you'll unlock them for subsequent playthroughs. Now, whoever was playing this had a hit percent ratio of 83 and killed about 569 enemies. You can get a better score at the end of the game by how fast you complete it, also how many guns you found, and your accuracy rating. My head aches, I can't remember anything. My only hope is this gun. I must remember, I must survive.
Where am I? Oh! I don't remember anything. Who am I?
Alright, so we have control of our character, and it looks like we just survived a helicopter crash. But our poor main character here does not remember who he is or what he's doing. Now I'm walking around with your usual tank controllers. I press forward, or I press up on the directional pad and I move forward. I can turn to the left or right by pressing left or right, and I'll walk backwards by pressing down. If I hit the square button, I'll run. If I hit the R1, we'll bring up our aiming reticule and I can fire at enemies. And this game does something a little special. If I hit L1, I'll immediately turn to the closest point of interest. In this case, it's a door. In some cases, it will be enemies or items. Now, I'll hit Start, and we're going to go to our menu here. First is our items. because this game has already been played through a few times, all the weapons are unlocked. So we have handgun A, which is what we would normally start with. This is your default handgun. Over the course of the game, you would find other handguns, A, B, C, and D. Each one of them has their own stats, such as how fast they fire, how much damage they do, how much ammo they have, and how fast they reload. Shotgun, grenade gun, a magnum, and eventually you can unlock a rocket launcher. Now, we'll probably use this rocket launcher for some of the bigger enemies, but I think for the most part we're going to try to play it like any other Resident Evil game. Okay, we also have our files. Currently, all 13 files are unlocked because all 13 have been found during the course of the game. I forgot that as you find files during the course of the game, you can't find them again. It's kind of like Fatal Frame in that way. So I have notes here about where we would find what files, and I will read those files when we get to those areas. And our map. So right now we're in the street area. Alright, let's get moving. Ooh, there's a body up here.
You look familiar, but...
Alright, so there's our main protagonist. Does he remind anybody else of a green-shirted, sandy-haired, amnesiac protagonist
Thompson, huh?
in another survival horror?
Though I can't
Maybe it's just me.
anything, I know that this was no way for anyone to die. What?
Okay, there's our first enemy. This Resident Evil zombie looks like he's been pulled straight from RE2. So I'm going to start taking shots at him. 2 shots were enough to put him down. Although the game does have placement damage, so depending on where I hit them, will do more or less damage. And for some enemies it's different. Most zombies, if you can tag them in the head, you're going to do extra damage. Alright, we've obtained the rusted key. So here's the first thing. The game's story branches out into 3 different paths. Now, right now, I'm just going to play through what I think is the first path. And I'm going to choose the areas I think are most appropriate for that path's storyline. Some of them are obvious, some of them are not so obvious. And in the case here at the very beginning, I don't think it matters. We have 3 choices. We can go through this church, through this restaurant, we can go down there through the movie theater. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with a church. But as I finish these areas, we'll jump back and take a look at the other paths we could have taken. Alright, zombies. Now I am using handgun D, which is the most powerful of the handguns, but it fires the slowest and has the least amount of bullets. Our handgun ammunition, regardless of which handgun we're using, is completely unlimited. Our other weapons, say the shotgun, the grenade gun, and so forth, they have limited ammunition that we will find during the course of the game. Yeah, no puddle of blood means the enemy is not dead. Now this game wasn't actually developed by Capcom. I don't remember who they sent this to get developed for, but it looks like they just kind of ripped all the sprites, or the character models rather, from the other Resident Evil games. The old clock is ticking. A clock winder seems to be attached to it. Alright, we've got the clock winder. There are puzzles here for us, but most of them are pretty simple. They're usually about as complicated as find the room that has the key so that you can open another nearby door. Alright, you three. Oh, you're not dead yet, huh? Oh, there you go. The old clock's not working. You've used the clock winder. Alright, we're not going to go down there just yet. We're going to go in here. There we go, and there's one of the green herbs. We still have all our classic healing items. A pinball machine? Why would it be in a church? Well, clearly people need to be able to play arcade games every once in a while. Power Man. No clue what that one is. Can't read what that says either. Actually, as we play the game, we'll notice that some of the posters on the walls are either famous pictures or from famous films, or even from other Capcom video games. Now, this is the first room we would get our first note. And that'd be the church manager's diary. October 7th, 1998. Today, the leaders of each section of the city, including myself, attended a meeting with the commander. The briefing was on the destruction of Raccoon City. During the conference, everyone placed blame on William Birkin. He betrayed the company and wanted to keep the G-Virus for himself. The commander told us that if there is a traitor like Birkin in this city, we should execute him immediately and without question. I wholeheartedly agree with the commander's orders. This city is as vital to Umbrella as it is the laboratory, as that library in Raccoon City was. No, it is actually much more important. We must not allow a biohazard to happen in this city. We cannot let Umbrella's efforts to buy the city and establish these billion-dollar facilities to go to waste. We should keep a closer eye on the behavior of personnel in the future. Well, sorry, bud, but a biohazard did break out. It's locked. Yeah, we're going to come across several locked doors. And almost always the key is pretty close. Ah, spider. Yep, even the spiders have returned. They're still poisonous, and they're still dangerous to deal with. Although, due to the orientation of the game and the controls of it, most enemies can be handled fairly easily just with a handgun. Like, if this was any other Resident Evil game, I would not have tried to take down a spider with a handgun. I would have probably grabbed a shotgun, at least, or maybe one of the grenade guns. Although, to be honest with you, I don't particularly care for the grenade gun in this game. Well, it really depends on what enemy we're using it on. Enemies low to the ground, I don't have good luck with. but enemies that stand up like humans, or like zombies, it works better. Alright, we made it out into the hole behind the church. Now there are dogs. So the dogs are pretty annoying in this game. But this is where we would get out if we went through some of the other passages. For example, there's the cinema in front of us, and next to us is a restaurant. In fact, we're going to go right now and look at the other paths we could have taken. Alright, we're back, and we're going to take a look at the second possible path, or path B if you prefer. Now, at this first choice, it doesn't matter quite as much, but I still think that this is appropriate based on the enemies and the notes and stuff that we find to be the start of the second path. And we're going into the theater. Now, one thing about the theater you're going to notice is there are posters and stuff up on the walls, and several of them are for famous films. I can only recognize a few of them, so forgive me if I do not point them out. But I'll try to take a look at some of them. Uh-oh. Okay, we let them get a little too close. And that was a bad shot. Down you go. Okay, we're going upstairs. Oh, you hear that? Those are the caws of crows. This is a used projector. There's no film in it. Well, we've got to find some film. Now, I do believe that normally over in this corner there would be a note. So we're going to open it up and look at it. I do think it's at the very end, though. Yes, report on destroyed Raccoon City. Slide, Raccoon City. After the destruction, report. August 5th, 1998. A report from the UBCS member, Part 1. The biohazard that occurred on May 11th at Lord Spencer's mansion and the biochemical laboratory ended on July 25th when members of the STARS team destroyed the entire facility. Now, someone might want to double check this for me, but I think this is the first time in the series of Resident Evil that we hear about the Spencer estate. As of 8/5/98, there are no signs of viral leakage in the surrounding area. However, we must continue to monitor the area with extreme caution. Our secret operative, Albert Wesker, is MIA and is presumed dead. However, we have just received information that Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield were preparing to report the incident to the press and their police chief. Now, having already gone through Resident Evil 2, we know that Chief Irons was kind of in on the whole thing. I request that this matter be addressed with the utmost urgency. UBCS Commander Nikolai Genovat. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but that's from Nikolai, who we saw in Resident Evil 3, was going around killing other, not commanders, what was he calling them? I'm sorry, why do I forget these things? But anyway, this memo is from Nikolai. And when did this... This was from August 5th. And I'm trying to remember, when did the events of Resident Evil 3 take place? Well, there we go. September 30th, 1998. Report from the UBCS member, Part 2. At this moment, I am in the clock tower situated above Raccoon City. The city is overrun with zombies. It is safe to say that Raccoon City has been completely destroyed due to the biohazard. This situation is different from the accidental biohazard in the mansion. We suspect that it was intentionally caused by one of our company's researchers, Dr. William Birkin, the creator of both the T-virus and the G-virus. I have researched both biohazard incidents and noticed that two issues need to be addressed immediately. The security of the virus stored in our worldwide facilities must be improved. Also, we need to re-educate our workers. Biological weapon viruses will surely become our primary product, so they should be handled as such. All personnel should take extreme care not to allow any more biohazards to happen. October 6th, 1998. We've had extreme difficulties collecting the sample data for T-virus contamination and tactical data regarding the BOWs. The new BOW we call Nemesis was more ferocious and intelligent than we had expected. As a result, many UBCS members sent to the area have been sacrificed in the process of collecting combat data. I expect the researchers to analyze the combat data and use it to develop an even more evolved ultimate BOW. Nikolai. So, you might want to double check these dates, but at the very least this suggests that Nikolai might still be alive. And we know from playing Resident Evil 3 that there are several endings we can possibly get with Nikolai. Endings where he survives, or endings where he perishes. And I mentioned this earlier, I kind of prefer the idea that Nikolai is still alive and out there somewhere. But that's not for me to decide. Alright, we placed the 35mm film. And now we're going to go down to the theater and see what's playing. And there are the crows. Pretty sure this is the only area where the crows appear. And you know what? I'm thankful for that, because I imagine dealing with the crows in this game would be annoying. Alright, there's some film playing. Looks like maybe bacteria or some cells. But if we did not play that film, this key would not be here. We now have the theater key. And that key should get us out of the movie theater and out into the alleyway that we got to when we went through the church. You guys keep respawning. There are a handful of areas in the game where that happens. And, well, you know what? Let's just leave him alone. Just let him wander around. So now we're ready to start Path 3, or Path C if you prefer. This time we have to go through the restaurant. The restaurant also has a file that we would read, and I think it would be right here in this room. There we go, the restaurant owner's diary. October 4th, 1998. I heard an unbelievable story. A small town in America, Raccoon City, was destroyed last week. They said all the residents turned into zombies, and the city is now completely deserted. Umbrella Incorporated is rumored to be behind the incident, but I don't know the details. Although the incident occurred far from here, across the sea, I can't help but feel anxiety if Umbrella is truly behind it. I hope this city will be okay. October 6th. I heard another interesting story. This one about William Birkin, who supposedly destroyed Raccoon City. He was the creator of the viruses called T, or G, or whatever. He tried to use the viruses for his own purposes. Unbelievable as it may seem, he injected the virus into his own body and turned into a monster. Also, the virus leaked into the sewers, and it is rumored that rats spread the virus around the entire city. October 8th. What should I do? One of the Umbrella workers who came here for lunch mentioned that the T-virus is on this island. He said that there's no possibility that an accident could occur here in the city, but I'm not so sure. I decided to work for Umbrella because of the money, but now I've grown tired of opening my restaurant for only Umbrella workers. Is there nothing new or interesting left for me in this town? I guess it's time to get out of here before it's too late. Well, hopefully, buddy, you made it out of here. Okay, and there's a nice green herb here. Come on, you can get it. There we go. Alright, into the meat locker. There we go, the manager's key. Come here, you. So yep, the zombies in here respawn too. I can still hear one of them shuffling around. Well, the place looks deserted. But there are some zombies trying to get in. And there are also some zombies over here behind these plants. Guess who just smashed their way in? Not on the guest list. Sadly, though, nothing out here for us to check out. Can't even go through there. And this will lead us back out to the alley. Okay, well, we're back. And the phone is ringing. So what do you say we answer it? The phone hung up. Or the phone hang up. So you see that over there? Yep, our friends the Lickers are back. Now again, you could handle a Licker pretty well with just a handgun in this game. But we're going to use a shotgun. And the reason is because there's actually two of them. It's also possible to shoot them out of the air when they're jumping like that. If you can do that, all the better. If not, well, as long as you keep moving back, they tend to miss. This game is actually pretty forgiving about that. So even just taking a few steps back will avoid enemies hitting you most of the time. Oh, there's that phone again.
Vincent.
Who is this? Vincent? Who's that? Wait. Am I Vincent?
Vincent, you are a murderer. A murderer.
Uh-oh.
A murderer? What are you talking about? Answer me. Who did I kill?
Well, it seems that we're Vincent. And we're a murderer. But we don't know who we are or who we murdered just yet. This is also our next time to choose between three different paths. We have this library up here, we have this hospital, and we have this arcade. We're going to go through the hospital. This is probably our first really important decision. Because we get a cutscene.
I won't allow you to escape. You're going to pay for what you've done. What? Helicopter? No. The cleaners have already arrived? They must want this mess taken care of very quickly.
Oh, you may have had a little trouble seeing that. That person in that familiar looking suit was holding a chain. That chain had a pendant on it. Now, he talked about helicopters and cleaners. Well, we don't know what he's talking about just yet, but we will find out what he's talking about fairly soon. Okay, so that zombie did grab us, but since we were able to push our way through him, we didn't take any damage. We're not so lucky here. In fact, I'm in a bad spot. Yeah, we can actually destroy some of the environment. To the best of my knowledge, there's nothing to be gained from destroying any of the environment. But you know, you can accidentally shoot out windows and stuff like that. Come on, where is it? There we go. Appears to be the control panel for the CT scanner. You've turned the switch on. Apparently somebody thought it was a good idea to leave the medicine room key in there. here's the medicine room. Okay, there is a file to be found in the hospital. I forget which room it is in, though. So what we're going to do is we're just going to read it now. Medical chart of the patients. William J. Smith, male, age 17. 181 centimeters tall, 72 kilograms. His physical condition is good. His mental condition is languid. Medicine, tranquilizers, 10 milligrams in soup for every breakfast. Hallucinogen, 5 milligrams in bread for every dinner. Jennifer Campbell, female, 18. 165 centimeters, 47 kilograms. Physical condition good. Mental condition unstable. Medicine. She has been confined for a long time. She has become very suspicious. Putting drugs in her meals is ineffective, as she rarely eats. It would be best to put tranquilizer into her drinking water. Ryoji Yokota, male. 18, 177 centimeters. 59 kilograms. Physical condition. According to the results of an MRT, a venous tumor was found in his cerebellum, worthless as a product. He has been removed. Karolinia Albachkovov? Your guess is as good as mine. Female, 17. 155 centimeters. 43 kilograms. Physical condition good. Mental condition good. Medicine, tranquilizers, 10 milligrams in soup for every breakfast. Yeah, something not good is going on around here. Ah, you thought you were going to sneak up on me. Actually, it might have been this room that we find the patient charts. Okay, up the stairs. Now there are a couple of doors down this long hallway. You only have to go in one of them, but we're going to take our time to check them all out. Alright, here's our next healing item. The first aid spray. Now, just like the other Resident Evil titles, the first aid spray will heal us back to full health, but using it will affect our grade. Now, we're not going for a particularly high grade or anything, so if I do need to use it, I will. But let's see if we can get by without using it. Normally, if you were playing through this on the first time, sitting right here on this table would be handgun B. As I mentioned earlier, each handgun plays a little differently. Now, I don't remember there being a chart or anything in the instruction manual for how fast the guns fire or how much damage they do. But most guns are a bit better than handgun A. I think it's either B or C that is probably overall the best. Although I like using D just because it has so much stopping power. Ugh. Yeah, I knew you were on the floor behind me. Oh, you're not dead yet, huh? Get off. Alright, and there's everyone's favorite, the red herb. Mixing a red herb with a green herb will get us a healing item that can restore us to full health. Kind of like the first aid spray, but it doesn't have a negative impact on our final score. The elevator is not working yet. Alright, a manhole opener. Ooh, and what's going on in here? Oh, zombies are going on in here. Though sadly though, this room is empty. Appears to be a patient's x-ray photo. What we need to do is get that manhole opener, so that would get the elevator working. Alright, let's get out of here. Oh, hello! So, there's our friend. And he just shoulder tackled me. So yeah, Agent X. Well, I like to call him Agent X. Actually, Mr. X. This guy got sent after us. That earlier cutscene with the guy opening up the, I don't know, whatever that huge blast door was. Well, he sent Agent X after us. And this is the first time we've seen Agent X since Resident Evil 2. And just like in Resident Evil 2, if you can put down Agent X, he's going to drop some goodies. He fights mostly like he does in the second game, although as you saw, he'll drop his shoulder and charge you. That's pretty difficult to avoid. But if you can hit him enough times, he'll get staggered. Alright. Now, while this doesn't look so bad, there's actually some nasty things in here. Yeah, there's one of them. Okay, and we are in danger. Although thankfully we did not get poisoned. I didn't mention this earlier, but in some areas the enemy placement is a little randomized. So right now we're doing okay. And I think that enemy placement will also depend on the different paths you take. We've used the manhole opener. And now we are down in the sewers. No one is admitted to this room without a permit. Keep out. So we're down in the sewers. And this is where all three paths would have converged eventually. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at those other two paths we could have taken. Now we're back outside where we're going to make our second choice. And even though this is the second choice, like I mentioned earlier, this is the one that really has impact on the story. This time we're going in the arcade. And those are the helicopters the man in white was talking about. And say hello to the cleaners.
Remember your mission! We're doing a clean sweep of the area! Everyone and everything must be cleansed! Now move out!
And that's their commander. So I say that this is the second path or path B because this will deal mostly with the cleaners and their commander.
What's that?
It's zombies. But something took them out. And there's that something. That's a cleaner. Now, they're kind of ape-shaped, and they make these weird wildcat noises when you shoot them. I do not know whether or not for sure they're bioweapons, like say the way lickers or hunters are, but they do have weapons. And there's a poster for Dino Crisis. Probably a couple of different posters in here. I don't recognize them all, though. Even some of the arcade machines are probably actual Capcom games. Like, part of me wants to say Darkstalkers, but I don't think that's right. Now, the cleaners are actually probably easier to kill than most of the other enemies, but because they have firearms, they can rack up damage on you really quick. And there are a pair right there.
What the?
Oh, but someone took them out.
Die, Vincent! Die!
Yeah, someone who's trying to take us out, too. So did that voice sound familiar? It sounded familiar to me. I kind of think that's the same person that was on the telephone. And whoever that was in the library. And the library was the third choice we could make. Now, there is a file in the arcade somewhere. I don't remember where, though. Alright, welcome to Entry Port. Alright. Okay, thankfully, the cleaners don't always fire on you. If they're close enough to you, they'll just whack you with the butts of their gun. Alright, manhole opener. Alright, before we get much deeper into the arcade, we're actually starting to go into the casino area. We're going to read... Actually, no, I'm sorry, we're not going to read anything. There's no note in here. I'm double checking my notes. We would find handgun C. And even though we got him before he pulled his trigger, we still got the hero of it. Alright, I'm pretty sure it was in here we would find handgun C. And there is the manhole cover to the sewers. And here we are, caught back up to where we just were. So that's it for this path. Let's take a look at how path 3, or path C, goes. So we've just gotten off the phone, and it's time to make our third choice. This time, we're going in the library. And I want you to remember, when we went through the arcade, somebody from this window was shooting at us. Oh, hello.
Who are you?
What are you talking about, Vincent?
What did you call me?
Please, don't kill me. Helicopter. Vincent, this is all your fault. You made them send those cleaners to destroy this place.
Cleaners? What do you mean? Wait!
So that strange little man just confirmed that we're Vincent, and that the people in the helicopters were the cleaners. Now, there shouldn't be anything down here to check out. There's a guide map at the library. And he locked this door behind him. It's locked. Stacks. So let's check upstairs. Nothing over here, but there's a green herb there. And that's good, because we're going to need as many as we can get our hands on.
What?
It's such a shame that you must die here, Vincent. After all, this is the type of place where a cold-blooded murderer should die.
Well, we've gotten locked in here, and in here is a bad place. And I'm going to show you why. That's why. Hunters. Now thankfully it's just the one. But this is our first encounter with a hunter. And if you were not prepared for it, it could take you out pretty quick. This is also the room where we'd find handgun D, the one I'm using right now. It would be sitting right here on the desk. So it's possible that you could have ran around the hunter and grabbed the handgun. So the door's unlocked now. Oh, somebody ran off. And dogs. Yeah, I'm just going to run past these dogs. It's just easier that way. Now, I think if you listen carefully, you can hear what's in here. Yep. That's the telltale click, click, click of a liquor. You were a tough one, huh? Two of them in here, actually. And there should have been a note here. Let me see, which note was that supposed to be? It is the... okay. We want the Umbrella Top Secret file. Umbrella confidential document. For your eyes only. The file contains data for the BIOS created by the virus contamination that occurred during the biohazards. The first biohazard was caused by the T-virus leak in the Arklay laboratory on May 11, 1998. The second was the large-scale biohazard at Raccoon City, which happened 4 months later. Although they have not been confirmed yet, note that there may be BIOS other than the ones listed below. The data is for those will be filled when it is ready. BIO File 1, Zombie. Humans who are contaminated by the T-virus. They have lost their consciousness and wander around on their instincts and appetite to satisfy their hunger for human flesh. Tactical procedure. As their movements are slow, they can be easily eliminated if you keep enough distance to snipe. BIO File 2, Cerberus. Dogs which are contaminated by the T-virus. Their bodies have not rotted as much as that of zombies, so they can move much faster. They are very sensitive to noise. If they hear you, they will pursue and attack you. Tactical procedure. You can eliminate them with a handgun, but since they are fast, it may be difficult to aim. BIO File 3, Liquor. They are created by a mutation that occurs when a zombie is contaminated by the T-virus. As a result of the transformation process, they have conspicuous features like exposed brain tissue and move around on all 4 legs. Compared to the zombies, they possess incredible agility. They have no eyes and are unable to see. Instead, they have abnormally evolved senses of hearing. Tactical procedure. As they attack in response to sound, you should be careful when firing at them. Since they are very keen to hearing footsteps, you should avoid running when they are around. BIO File 4, Ivy. BIOs which are created from plants. They can move around on their own by using vapors inhaled through their skin. Watch out for their tentacles, which are used like whips. Tactical procedure. As fire is lethal to them, a grenade launcher is a very effective weapon. BIO File 5, Hunter. Yeah, we just fought one of those. A BIO that is created when the T-virus contaminates the human DNA. Since their lower body muscles have been enhanced, they can jump incredibly high and attack enemies with razor-sharp claws. Tactical procedure. Just before they jump at an enemy, they stop their movements momentarily. You should attack them during this time. BIO File 6, Tyrant. The ultimate result of our BIO project with the T-virus. Based on the regular Tyrant, the more ferocious Enhanced Tyrant and Nemesis, which is even more aggressive and intelligent, were created at our European branch. Tactical procedure. There are virtually no countermeasures against Tyrant's incredible power. BIO File 7, Prototype. They are not yet complete, but logically speaking, we can create and mass-produce more ferocious BIOs by adding certain materials during the process of cultivating Tyrant's genes. However, there is one problem. Well, we don't know what that problem is just yet. But there's a good chance we're going to find out as we play. Oh, I don't need a shotgun to deal with you guys. Okay, everybody's dead. Let's get moving. And yeah, we got the manhole opener again. That may look like it's safe, but nope. There's some dogs waiting out here for us. Well, thankfully that one decided it wouldn't attack us from behind. Well, not a lot to do back here. But there's the cinema. And there's a red herb. Any other little things we can notice? Yeah, there's the library. So we've gotten to the sewers, but it's very dark in here. And there are some unnerving noises. It is pitch black. Well, let's go check out this red dot. You push the switch. Oh! Oh, oh boy. There are roaches. Roaches everywhere. And I think just like the crows, that's the only area that we will encounter roaches. But now we're back in the sewers, ready to catch up with all the other paths.